Hello everybody, and welcome to the Blitz Order, a brand new mini Vanguard podcast where I talk about anything related to the upcoming D-Series booster sets. And I'm gonna let you know right now, that was probably the longest time I ever had recording an intro. Because I've been trying to figure out how I want to say it, how I want to do it. I even have a script right here, but even then I still could not even figure it out, so... Yeah, we're just gonna kind of wing it at this point because I've fumbled up 10 times and I got 30 minutes before the actual overdressed episode drops, so I need to hurry up and get this done. So yeah, so let's talk about what we're going to be here for. So kind of start. This is going to be a series just based on doing set reviews for the D series. Well, not really set reviews, more so just small little thoughts I have of the immediate release of the set going forward, because I always have a series for every Vanguard set, right? I have my streams where we talk about the V sets, those get turned into videos on the channel. Then we have then I did the premium collection roundups. That's pretty cool, and I want to do more of those when we get another premium collection. But I don't really have any for D, and I tried that with the set 5 Ryline video, but to me it just felt I won't say it wasn't too much work, because I did enjoy what I was doing. I just had these pressures on myself because of self related timelines and whatnot. So I kind of just put that pressure on myself unnecessarily. And I still didn't feel like I made the video I wanted to make in the end. Plus, I do feel like I kind of tripped off a bit of Monkey Fight TCG in a sense. Which, by the way, very good channel. Go look at their videos. They're really good. They talk about Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh and kind of any TCG they like. So I recommend them. So I wanted to try and change it up, and I also wanted to get back into doing small little podcasts and ever because I think for me podcasts are a way I can help work on my actual talking skills a little bit better. Just basically ramble into the mic for a good 20-30 minutes. So that's kind of the basis why we're here. The other reason why we're here is because we're gonna talk about the upcoming set. Well, the set just released in Japan, Lyrical Monasterio 3 Summertime Memories. So here's a bit of a background on kind of my thoughts on Lyrical Monasterio 3 prior to the set releasing. So first off, a couple months ago I did a video where I discussed my immediate thoughts on it and my concerns when it was originally announced. Because if you were to go back and you look at set 1, set 2, we say we're shooting 50-50 from the free throw line, and we are here to break the tie. Because Lyrical Monasterio set 1, in my opinion, was a pretty good set. I know only one meta deck came out of it, but I'm cool with that. I think every other deck was interesting somewhat and had ideas that I think fleshed out would have been something cool, right? I think Lorna was cool. I think Felty was cool. I thought Alessio was a cool concept. That's what it was. I forgot. Okay, so when I just a little background thing. I was trying to do a previous recording, and my whole thing was I completely forgot the one deck, and now I just realized that the one deck I missed was Alessio. Oh man, I just realized that now, but that's another thing. So set 1 was cool, but over time I've kind of come to the thought process of, those decks were good, but they weren't as flexible as I thought they would potentially be. Flexible is going to be a key word here, especially since I wrote it 10 times in the script. So, what I mean is, set 1 had a lot of cool decks, but those decks really had needed certain support waves to actually help them out. AKA, Felty, I wrote it down around here. I'm not gonna go on the script anymore, but I've got the stuff I did right, so I looked at it and it's Felty wanted cards that could evacuate circles before her drives, but unfortunately her skill was also RNG based because she needed her drive checks to have normal units to proc her effect. Plus she did come a little counterblasty. I know because I'm certain I would like max rated that deck if it was truly good, but that's just me. Celestial, like, Celestial kind of wanted a way to just cheat on the white wings and black wings a bit more. It's like, yeah, white wings are cool, black wings are cool, but let's be honest here, people are greedy. We want both wings. Like this is Buffalo Wild Wings. So, you know what I mean, right? They wanted some more specific support to kind of help them get there. And, that's just kind of like what they wanted up to Lyrical Monasterio 1. Loner Roll was one of the best decks at the time. So, it's not like Lyrical Monasterio 1 didn't have a foundation to stand on, And then you go to Lyrical Monasterio 2, and I'm just going to say it kind of outright. The set wasn't good. I'm almost wanting to call it garbage, but if we're talking about like casual thing, yeah, there was some cool stuff there, and obviously like Kyrie, Melty, and the grade 1, the grade 1 that scries when boosting are all like pretty powerful things that came out of that. But if we're gonna be as objective as possible, that set wasn't really great. I don't think any of the decks in Lyrical Monasterio 1 got anything they needed to actually help them out. And then the new decks, Fortia with Friends and Herminia with Powerful, felt too restrictive. Fortia was a restand, but she needed all of her like units to be friends in order to restand, which, cute concept, but you needed basically a whole board, and that means like you're very susceptible to retire. So if you can't field enough friends, like you're just kind of screwed out there. And then Herminia's Powerful is very similar to like, it's one of those like mechanics, like for example Brave. If you understand what Brave was, like it's a mechanic that goes effectively against what makes a deck good, or what should make a deck good, because Herminia is like, oh, you have 0 soul, or you have 0 open counterblast and 0 open counterblast, like you get these effects, right? Which, obviously the whole thing is like, well, why do I want no soul? Why do I want no counterblast? I want to, play the effects. It's hard enough to like get used to. So, but the issue is that is like those effects have to be good enough to be worth it to a lot of people, and they just weren't. So basically, Lyrical Monasterio 2 kind of had this thing of Herminia just wasn't good. Fortia ironically lost her friends to Kyrie, and then the other like Lyrical Monasterio 1 decks just kind of like fell to the wayside and just sent to the ether, which is unfortunate. So, we're 1 for 1 on Lyrical Monasterio sets, and at this point, what do we do? And that's where Lyrical 3 comes in. So to talk about Lyrical Monasterio 3, and my original concerns about it was, it had 6 ride lines that all needed support, that all were going to need, just generic cards, gonna need their own mechanics and whatnot. So it all really depended on what they do with them. And so to kind of put it in a way, I think they actually did well with these sets. I think what's different between the Lyrical Monasterio 3 ride lines and the Lyrical 1 and 2 ride lines is the Lyrical 3 ride lines are, as I said earlier, more flexible. They're able to be used as, they're able to be used completely well. They're able to be used completely well. What am I saying? I'm just saying random things. They're able to be used in a more generic style than what the other like original ride lines could. Like if we just kind of take a look, Hazoret is basically like a mix between Old Grey Nature and Spike Brothers, in which you're trading like cards on the board when they attack for cards in the hand, so you're cycling through and getting more aggression off as well. That's cool. Lifa is basically Bastion, but she's able to use grade 2s and gives them boost on her own, so that way you don't have to have those issues of, well, I don't have my booster, so all my cards are useless. Kyoka just really needs her magazine, which by itself is just generic like draw power, counter charge, and like regular boosting power to like other units, which primarily goes on her restandard like grade 2. So that's already just really good. I'm trying to think what else I had here. I talk about Lifa. Lutetia is a restander very similar to Fortia, excuse me, but really just needs the Blitz orders and the normal orders and Blitz orders and Soul, which you can always find ways to cheat out in the future, or or just play normally, right? You can play it faster, and you don't really need to worry about your board itself. So that's always it's always necessary. I think like if a deck can rely on itself, or like can recur that, or needs a board but has the ability to recur it like much easier, excuse me, I think that deck is actually like well off and has potential. So all the other like those rally lines are there, and then we go into the ones that probably have a little bit more like work to be needed, which is Medio and Michu. But even then, those two decks are like way easier to understand. You would just probably need like a card that can like similar to like not similar, but like something like what's his name? The V series version of Columbard, which like is it Columbard or one of those like one of those Grand Blue cards that can like dump a specific card into the drop, or certain cards in the drop. Simple like that card that like when called you can restand, and something like that, or like a potential scry card to look like the top of the deck so that they can get what they want. But those are like 2 cards out of like a whole bunch of 2 cards at max that you would really need. Heck, you could like be crazy and like push it and put it on 1 card, right? You can put it on the triple rare, put it in there, and just bam, you're good to go. And really, for Michu really just kind of wants like maybe another cannonball that probably could do a little bit things there with her glitter companion. But other than that, like I think you don't need that much support for those decks to actually make them good. I just just 1 or 2 cards here and there, and I think that's really good too. Is like comparing them to the Lyrical Monasterio 1 lines. They are easily more flexible, can easily like take generic support, put them into their deck, and just go crazy, right? So I think that's good. I think Raleigh aside, we go into the rest of the deck, the rest of the set, excuse me, and everything else is pretty good too. We got 3 good generics that are just straight up like crazy. I mean, literally, there's one that's actually $50 on release because, well, for one, it's a card that every deck actually wants to run, and two, what's it called? Oh yeah, WGP Nagoya was that weekend, and then next couple weekends from now was another WGP. So that's already another thing too. And then so that's the thing. And then also you get the PG reprints, the normal triggers reprinted, and then the over trigger reprints. And you just look at that and say, yeah, no, set is value. You get 6 new decks. You get your PGs, over triggers, and crits, fronts, draws, heals, all reprinted with new arts. Bam! Like, you're already ready to go. Buy you a couple boxes or get you some singles, and you basically have a whole new deck ready to go. So that's pretty much my positives. I think the negatives are obviously because of just how many like ride lines need support. All these, the previous ride lines didn't get really anything outside the few generics. And like I said, those line lines aren't as flexible because they need certain cards, right? But Callisto needs more interconnect to actually like pop off her effects, right? Because otherwise she's kind of just like boneless Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion or boneless Brawlers or whatever you want to call her, right? So, that's kind of like the biggest like negative for the set, but I really don't have any like problems with the set. I think even the LSRs are pretty good, so there's not really much to say here. I think overall it's a pretty good set, and I'm excited for when it comes to English. And yeah, that's kind of like all I can say here. So with that being said, we're gonna call it here. I will see y'all for probably maybe like a rerun of me talking about my thoughts on set 6 before we get to set 7's release. And I also am going to like a small little update for the channel too. Like I'm also going to I was waiting for today specifically because I want to watch something. So when that's happened, I will then also make another video later. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. If you like this content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.